So let me absolutely cut to the chase now. Is it worth buying the Quest 3? And I'm going to say yes, but I want to give you some caveats. The first caveat is that if you are getting decent performance from your current Quest 2 headset, and I am mainly targeting Quest 2 users here, then it is worth upgrading to the Quest 3, because I will be fairly confident that you will get improved performance in terms of less jitteriness, less latency, no skipping of frames, and much more consistent and solid frame rate, whatever that ends up being for your system. A much more comfortable headset, assuming you just have the basic headset, better field of view, much better edge-to-edge clarity. As I sit here and I just move my eyes as far left as I can clearly see right in the edge of the display the other instrument binnacle. It's slightly darker as it gets to the edge of the screen, but there doesn't seem to be any sort of distortion. I would say that the IP adjustment is infinitely better than it was on the original Quest 2. I would say that if you wear glasses, the adjustable facial interface is much better than the original Quest 2. I would say that for some glasses wearers, including myself, you will actually be able to wear the interface at the closest setting, as I currently am. And in addition to that, there was somebody going way over to me sound. In addition to that, the audio from the Quest 2 is way better. I have a little couple of, it's like, imagine like a frame jitter but with sound. There's another one just then. I haven't experienced that before. I think it might be because I'm on a multiplayer server, we've got lots more people on, and I have got my settings up and I am recording. But it's certainly not as bad as on the Quest 2. I was getting that sort of several times in a minute, and it was making it very difficult to hear what was going on, especially in Discord and Simple Radio. So we've got much better visuals, much smoother experience, much better audio, more comfortable, just generally better in all of those ways. And you have the added benefit that if you play virtual reality that's not PC VR, you have all the Quest 2 games, and you've got the hope of better Quest 3 games with mixed reality coming out in the future. So here's some reasons why you won't be upgrading to your Quest 3. You don't get good performance on your Quest 2, and you have to have already very, very low settings. I don't think that getting a new headset is going to solve all your problems. If you have more space than me, you might decide to go for some of the more high-end VR options which require lighthouse tracking, and you might not be bothered about standalone VR. Then again, you might be looking at more expensive alternatives. If you have a better PC than mine is 9700K with 3080 Ti and 32 gigabytes of RAM, and you've got like a 4080 or 4090, then you have got the graphical horsepower to run something that's better than the Quest 2. There are a number of options on the market. You already own a Quest Pro or something like a Pico 4, where you might possibly get marginal gains, but they won't be significant enough for you to swap out for a new headset just yet. Or you are on a much bigger budget than I am, and you can afford one of the better VR headsets for PC VR. I've heard lots of people arguing about screen door. I'm looking for a screen door now, and I cannot see it. I cannot see sort of that sort of pixely effect that moves when you move your head. There was a massive immersion breaker for me in the CV1, especially flying night missions, and it was very distracting. You cannot see that, and unless you've got sort of a microscope looking down the lens, I don't think the average user is going to notice that at all. Unless you have the highest, most powerful hardware, you are going to be having to make some decisions about what you'd rather have in DCS. Super smooth or super detailed. I think I've found a sweet spot for me in terms of visual fidelity and frame rates. I mean, my frame rates are like rock solid 45 FPS. And I've said this several times, it feels utterly amazing compared to 60 FPS on the Quest 2. I couldn't go back to the Quest 2 now. Just there's no way. Here's a weird thing though. Going from the Quest 2 to the Quest 3 and playing like Alex, I didn't think that there was that much of a difference. I think Quest 3 is an amazingly good product at the price point, but if you are shopping around second hand, then again, the Quest 3 might look like an expensive option, especially when You know, things like the G2 are available in the used market. And dare I say it, if I was new to VR now and I was putting my toe in the water for the first time, I would be very tempted to get a Quest 2. And you can pick them up for a third of the price of a new Quest 3 and have a really good experience. I've been using the Quest 2 for a couple of years in DCS. I've had some fantastic missions with friends and people I fly with. Quest 2 now, it was always the best bang for buck virtual reality headset for seated PC VR. At £300 it was the best value. If you can pick one up used for, you know, let's say 150 quid, I dare anyone to find a better quality, better experience for that price. Is it as good as the Quest 3? No, but my gosh, even with the, you know, my PC, which is by no means the best, I was having really, really good, fun experiences in DCS, and none of it was being ruined by the limitations of the Quest 2's headset. Am I going to have even more fun now? I think so. Do things look better now? Definitely. Am I glad that I was an early adopter? Absolutely. This experience is only going to get better. Meta is going to be dropping software updates just like it did with the Quest 2. The DCS is going to get more friendly for VR users, more multi-threading and other changes that they're making to the software. So things can only get much, much better from where they are, and they are already absolutely awesome. If you can afford those top-end VR experiences, they are clearly going to be better than Quest 3. But for the price point, I think this is an excellent, excellent product. But I will say I've only compared this to other Oculus/Meta products, those being the CV1 and the Quest 2. That's my opinion. Please feel free to share yours in the comment section. And if you have any tips, tricks or hints on how to get even better performance in VR, then please leave something in the comments, because I really am interested in what you guys have got to say. Thanks very much for listening. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you on the next one.